How's it going? I'm Matt Fisher, and you're at the Source Hydration 2012 ShotShow booth. For those of you not familiar with our products, thank you for your time and your interest in checking into MIL-SPEC Monkey's YouTube channel here. Let's give you a quick overview in terms of what sort of sets our products apart from some of our competitors in the tactical hydration market. Really, where it begins is from the ground up. We use a very different set of raw materials for the bladder construction. Most people in the tactical hydration market will use a polyurethane film, and whereas we use a co-extruded polyethylene. The main reasons why we use the polyethylene as opposed to a polyurethane are predominantly in terms of taste. Polyethylene is very commonly used within the food services industry because it's very taste neutral. You don't get that leaching of a really strong rubbery or a plasticky kind of taste that will make your water taste a little bit funky. Secondly, from an antimicrobial standpoint, polyethylene has got a very smooth surface, so that it's very difficult for microbes or mold or anything that's floating in the water to actually be able to adhere to the reservoir wall and then start to reproduce. If you look at like a polyurethane bladder, for instance, there's a tremendous amount of porosity or relief on that surface, whereas because the source polyethylene is so smooth, it's very difficult for any kind of microbes that are floating in suspension to actually adhere to that surface and then start to reproduce. So in reality, we've had customers that have claimed, that they've put water in there indefinitely, up to 6-9 months, and they haven't had anything really nasty growing in the water. Now, for times that people do want to clean the inside of the reservoirs, for instance, if you're going to use like a sugar-based sports drink, in which kind of medium, you will get microbes in that growing. Most of our systems are equipped with this proprietary wide pack closure here. Very easy, just slides open, and you can access the entire interior of the reservoir. Very easy to get your entire hand all the way down to the bottom, just to clean the entire reservoir out in this regard. Actually, cleaning is as simple as just adding some hot soapy water, swashing around, rinsing out, and you're good to go. The wide pack is also very handy for inserting ice. For a lot of guys who are deployed, have access to the ice machines on like DFACs and that kind of stuff. Literally just open up the top side of the reservoir here and just pour ice straight in. And another feature, or another means of filling, sort of with our standard Nalgene threaded cap. Very easy to open. Some of your larger oversized filler caps tend to take a lot of torque, whereas this guy, very easy. You can't really over tighten it. You're going to give us a bit of torque here, but at the same time, still single-handedly opens up, just like this. Some of the other things that make Source very unique are our quick disconnect fittings, whereby once the hose is disconnected from the reservoir system, it self-seals. So regardless of if your reservoir is empty or full, you're not going to have water leaking out. And we use the same quick disconnect right where our mouthpiece is, just like this. So it's easy to pop it on and off, take the mouthpiece on, and again, you're not going to have water leaking out from there. Some of the stuff that we're doing, we started in 2011 and we're carrying on forward into 2012. It's sort of a move away from your more traditional cylindrical shaped reservoir systems. A lot of end users were telling us that when these were full and mounted on their back, if they're sitting inside like a Humvee or armored personnel carrier or trying to wear a rucksack or anything like that over top, if they're sitting down, they'd have to cock their back from side to side, or if they're wearing a ruck or anything over top, the ruck would roll around. So what we're really starting to move into here are these low profile hydration systems. And generally speaking, what we've got is a center baffle, which will really reduce the bladder from expanding outwards. It limits the outward expansion, and then we're also making the reservoirs considerably wider. This particular one is a second generation of a low profile system that we did for the Navy SEALs. The concept originally with the first system we did was that it was going to mount inside of a plate carrier in front of the strike face. They didn't want to have a lot of extra bulk or anything like that, with an external carrier. So they'd literally put this inside the plate sleeve and it would go from there. Some of the changes that we've done to this second version is that where the tube connects down to the bottom, we've changed it to a lateral orientation. So that way you can route your tube vertically, or if you don't have an opening at the top of your plate carrier or your body armor, you can take the tube and then route it downwards. So for instance, if you've got your plate pocket opening at the bottom, you can route it down this way. And of course, still maintains the wide pack closure at the top for filling. But one of the other features we developed specifically for our low profile stuff is this little guy right here, our universal tap adapter. And really there's a how many people out there, will direct attach their armor or their hydration system to their armor in a setup kind of similar to this. Where you've got something like an IOTV or a plate carrier or something along those lines, where either you're using like a MIL-based hydration pocket, or you're just taking a hydration bag and you're just jury rigging it with electrical cable ties or 550 cord or whatever, so it's on the back, and it would become a real bear to try and refill this thing while it's mounted on your back. So if you're wearing this body armor, it's very easy. You just disconnect the mouthpiece just like this. Grab the UTA, plug it in. Standard bottle of water, you can hook it up to a water buffalo or to a spigot. You can refill your entire reservoir without taking it off the back. If you check out the MIL-SPEC Monkeys video library, he actually did a demonstration of this in action, so we thank him for doing this. The back of this IOTV here, we've actually got a new hydration carrier called the Razor. It's a very simple MIL-based system here. You've got your conventional MIL straps that just attach to the back, and then you've got a Velcro top flap here that just allows access to your hydration system inside. Available in all your standard colors: multicam, ACU, coyote brown. For those who'd like a system that you can wear not only as a MIL attach or as a standalone backpack, we've got this guy right here, which is called the Rider. So it maintains that same low profile shape, but it also has a set of standalone shoulder straps, so you can wear it for like range details or PT or just general garrison wear, as your just everyday hydration system. And then it's got our exclusive XQCA attachment straps that will just weave onto the MIL to make for a very secure attachment there. You've also got a nice little handy little pouch here on the exterior. It's pretty decent for putting things like iPro, gloves, can of dip, anything like that in there. Another guy that we're promoting in the 2012 market as well as our Kangaroo collapsible canteen. And again, this was another project we developed for the Navy SEALs, where they wanted almost like a soft collapsible E&E type bottle, whereby it was just something that they could use either hands-free, with a drinking tube, or also as a conventional bottle. Right here you've got a push-pull spigot, so you can drink from it like this, as a standard, or you can also open it up, for refilling or for drinking like this. It's got you've got a pleated bottom, so it's capable of standing up on its own, and it will also fit in a standard 1 quart canteen pouch. Source has also got a MIL pouch we sell as an accessory item as well, so just MILs onto your gear. In that regard, you got a little opening there for the filler cap, and then the tube just routes up just like this.